and we're back into it. So it's now my holidays over Christmas period, so I've got about 3 weeks to try and smash out as much as I can. Been busy during the week and made up the passenger side insert for the Firewall, and got some more material to make the other side. Have been busy on the engine covers, sanding them down, filing them, getting rid of as much as I can out of them to try and make them as smooth so that I can get them polished and then ideally chromed. There is quite a few holes that pop up now that they're being sanded, so I don't know how that's going to go, but hope for the best. Worst case, they'll be flat as flat and painted, so if we have to paint them, we'll do them a silver to, well, paint them chrome ideally, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, blower's back thanks to Kappa in Berry. They've serviced that, given it a clean bill of health. I've also welded up the holes where the tag was, so I don't need a tag being blatantly obvious. So now that's back, I can pull the back housing off, finish getting that welded, and we'll paint that up to look Mickey Mouse as well. I've got a couple more bits of piping to make for that, and then that'll be the end of the supercharger side of things. So just going to chuck a couple of time lapses in here, making up the driver's side one. First one will be the cardboard template, which is a mock from that side. It is slightly different, so I've also got to allow clearance for the steering column. So at the moment the column's out so that I can make that plate up. And then the second time lapse will be cutting the plate and getting that in and out to make that fit nicely. Alright, got the second plate cut out. Spent time measuring and lining up to make sure that the fold in the Firewall lines up with the rock cover on both sides. So you can see the back cover now where the notch is for the booster. Blatantly obvious, don't really like that, so we're going to weld that in so that it looks the same as the other side. I have put the old original cover on just so that it's got the same chamfer at the moment, because we're going to the second cover to try and weld in. So this one's going in the bin because unfortunately it's got some pretty serious cracks around it. No matter what we try and do, that's always going to leak. So that one will be absolute junk unfortunately, but we've got another cover cheap, so I can get that one welded up. I've just got to re-drill and tap the front of it for the fitting. But other than that, the rest of it's pretty straightforward. So that's now the back panels, well, side panels finished off. So they're ready to, well, weld in. Obviously we'll get the engine out first. I just wanted to make sure they had plenty of clearance to get those in before I weld them in and then try and put the engine in and discover it doesn't fit. So the other bit I've got to do is I want to fill in that gap there, so I'll finish squaring that off to match, so it all flows through nicely. It'll make it a lot easier to try and smooth and finish later. Opportunity, we could have put bead rolling in the Firewall, but there's no bead rolling anywhere else, so I want to try and keep everything flat, smooth, and up to Wayne and Troy whether we go crazy with the airbrushing or not. So flat panels with airbrushing, it'll kind of hide how flat and boring it'll be to a point. Otherwise it'll just be super clean, and the engine will be the focus point. So undecided on that one yet, but yeah, we've just got to make up the centerpiece, which will drop down, hide a lot of the stuff in behind there. So that'll be the next task, is to tidy up in there, get that piece sort of held in place. Once I'm happy that the engine will clear everything, then I'll take the engine out and we'll really get stuck into the engine bay. So been busy over Christmas. Got the middle plate done, so that's all now clamped in place. Been busy making up the templates for the sides. Remade those so that they match left and right perfectly. So the inner guard now, all the lumps and bumps are gone. Done all the heat shrinking on that. The inside engine bay is as smooth as sort of needs to be at the moment, and the wheel arch is also smooth on the inside. I don't want to fill them with bog, so trying to keep that as smooth as possible with minimal bog, for obvious reasons. So that's nearly ready to go. Inside the headlight panel is in there, and I'm going to change the guards to basically line up with the edge of the guard, so it'll save a lot of work trying to smooth out what's on the outside of that. It's going to be tight around the strut, but I reckon I've got enough room to make that clean. So the only bit that's going to annoy me is the steering column. There's going to be a little bit of a flap to sort of cover that. The column's still got to be able to come in and out, so once the engine's out I'll finesse that. But yeah, that's not going to match the other side, but hopefully once it's smooth and painted, no one's ever going to pick that anyway. So passenger side, same template. That panel's made up for there, and their guard extension, I've made that up. So now that I've got a sheet of tin, I'll start cutting all the pieces for inside the engine bay, and start cleaning it all up so it's ready to weld and tackle those in place. The other thing we're going to do is change the whole thing to yellow now. No, we're not. That is a guard off my GDSR replica, that I don't really want to use the original guards because obviously they're airbrushed. If I drop one and scratch it, I'll be pretty devastated. Plus, Troy mentioned that we should get rid of the aerial. So this one I've done years ago has already had the aerial removed. So I think I'm probably going to use these guards and keep the originals. I want to get rid of a few of the holes that are in there. So I'll only retain the one for the gas strut and maybe one at the back, one at the front, and that'll be it. So the rest of the holes will get smoothed out. And the other thing I'm going to do underneath where it bolts to, usually that's got just a thin piece of tin with speed clips on there. My Calais, which we did years ago, has got a bit of flat bar that is welded on there and tapped, so the guard actually bolts to a bit of flat bar, so you don't have the bolt sticking out underneath and you don't have any speed clips. So by the time they're boxed in flat like that, it's going to clean up that, well, the inside on both sides dramatically. So everything being so smooth, anything that's not smooth now will stand out. So I want to try and remove all that as much as possible. So obviously more work, but you know, we've come this far, so we're going all out on it. So I'll try and make it to the best I can for what we're doing, really, without obviously replacing all the strut towers and putting an IFS or whatever in it. It still needs to have the bags in it, so we've got to draw the line somewhere. But yeah, that'll be it, I think. I can clean all that up, get all that tacked in. So I've got a sheet there, so I can start marking those out now, cut them out and get them in place. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do, which is going to make a hell of a mess, but got to be done. So I'll probably pull the engine out, mark out where it's all got to be cleaned up, get it all back to bare metal, and then get the engine back in. I'm going to steal the front end out of the GDSR and put it up on blocks and sit it on its wheels. I don't want to weld everything in without having the full weight on the front end. If I weld it all in and it's not sitting where it's supposed to, and you take it off the jack stands and everything moves, then the gaps won't line up. So it will be welded complete. There's no risk of it not lining up later. So once it's all welded, then I'll pull all the panels off and paint everything, and then when it all bolts back up, it should line up, all going well. So these guards, really, the front guards don't have that much airbrushing on them anyway. They've just got an extension of what's in the door. So we'll paint those black, and I want to paint the insides of them as well, so that if anything is seen underneath, because we can't put guard liners back in with the wheels there. So all those will be painted as good as the outside. I obviously won't get airbrushing, but you know, at least if you go to judging and they look inside, it's going to be nice and shiny in there as well. So no one will ever know that they're different guards. Troy can put the old guards up on the wall or whatever you want to do with them. They'll be good shed art. And then I guess one day when I finish at GDSR, I'll find some more guards, which doesn't really worry me too much. It's not a big drama. So yeah, that's where we're up to with that. So now I'm just going to get stuck into making up some pieces and get the engine out, get it cleaned up, and continue along. We've still got to get the oxy on this side, get rid of all the lumps and bumps through there. That won't take too long, but once I get that piece that fits in there tacked in, try and get that shape to match that side. That's probably going to be the biggest challenge, but it's not something I'm not really do every day, so no big drama. We'll fix that up. Righto, today's progress. Got the bottom piece made, traced that off the template, modified it slightly so it fits perfect. So now I can start welding that one in. I've extended it to where the intercooler pipe comes through. The shape's perfect to the guard. Made a new template for the side now that the 5mm flat bar is in there. So it's tacked in place, got the guard on. It's not, well, it may not be exactly where it's got to be. I've got to put the bonnet back on. I've gapped it to the door, so should be pretty damn close to where it's got to be. Started cleaning up bits and pieces to welding, so that's now what you're going to see. So where the blue tape is, I'm going to fill those holes and just run a back one with a height adjuster for the bonnet. The middle one will be the ball for the strut, gas strut for the bonnet, and then the front one to locate the guard. So I'll change that to a nicer bolt and a riv nut. Yeah, so now it's got to do the other side. So I'll trace that one and cut another one out so they're exactly the same. Take the other guard off and start cutting that side piece off and weld the 5mm bar in as well. So I just got to drill and tap that for the ball. So that'll be a tomorrow or the next day problem. But trying to go hard. I've got a couple more days of holidays left, so I'd like to get all the sheet metal at least cut sitting in there, and then we can start looking at welding it in. Yesterday's progress, as you can see, the engine's back out again, mainly so I can clean up all the painted parts. I don't really want crap all over the motor, so Everything where the joins are, I've started cleaning up for welding, so it's going to be a lot of work. I really don't need it everywhere, but it is what it is. Made up the new piece for that side, so they're identical, so that the shapes for the curves and where they meet and everything should be exactly the same from left to right. The only thing that's going to be different without symmetry will be where the steering column comes through. Now the engine's out, I can put the K-frame and the steering rack back in and get that as tight as possible and clean as possible. So, yeah. And now I've got to make up the side pieces. I have chopped off the top section of the other side. That's now welded in as well. So now that they can be boxed in, we've just got to get these front plates tacked in and then get those exact so that there's zero gap. So Nathan's going to come and do all the TIG welding for me. I'm not competent at TIG welding, so all the gaps I'm trying to make as good as I possibly can, as clean as everything can be, so that it can be TIGged nice and clean and I don't have clean up with MIG welding. Makes a hell of a mess and it's just more work and more heat. So hopefully the TIG can make a better finish and less work in the long run. So it's been a while between drinks. Unfortunately, I've had some downtime for about a few weeks for a drag car we had to fix at work. So that's been my after hours and Saturday job for a little while, trying to get that sorted out. So now we're back on this. I have been chipping away, doing bits where I can. The inners on the front are now both welded in. So they're all cleaned up around where the intercooler pipes go, radiator. So I've neatened up all that. Nathan came yesterday. We got a solid day in of welding. So all the holes are now filled. The rear plates are sort of tacked in place. We've tacked in the guard extension on that side. I've cut all the sections that were raised. There was too much there to try and shrink, so I've just cut it and minimised the cuttage, and hopefully it's once it's all tigged back up and the shape is pretty much bang on to the other side. So that's where we're at with the engine bay. As far as I can think, the bolts for the pedal box are welded because they'll be covered by the new Firewall, so I don't want those to move. So now the pedal box will basically slide onto the studs on the inside. So it's mounted as per original, so nothing will change there. Since I got the old K-frame out, I got that sandblasted. Started welding up a few of the holes so that it's nice and clean. It'll look pretty horrendous with the engine bay smoothed out and the K-frame not, so I'm going to weld in sections to fill up any of the gaps just so that it's nice and smooth, and we'll get that painted up to match the rest of it. So that's on the to-do list today, and try and get hopefully start getting the lower plates welded in on the sides, or at least tacked up. I'll start cleaning all that up and we'll get those in, and then I'll try and make up the two side pieces. So the two side rails are done. Tapped out the thread for the ball for the gas struts. So the sides are pretty much finished. So yeah, just got a lot of cleanup to do, and then obviously a lot of welding. So we may even get one or two of the back plates welded in on the Firewall today. We'll see how we go. So that's where we're up to. The other bit of progress I've got done is the throttle body's now all welded, bogged up, painted. So that's now all one piece. And the rocker cover, the section that is usually notched out for the booster, that's been welded in. We're only going to paint those. I don't know whether we can chrome them. I think there's probably going to be too many marks and scratches and too much time in them just to get them chromed, but I'll speak to the chromer about that. The engine covers are ready to go to the chromers, so I've removed all the sanding marks or filing marks out of those. So we'll progress on that one. The blower housing is off, so that's been welded up, the bend, so that's at work. I just got to smooth that out, get that primed, and then that'll be ready for paint too. Another good few hours today on the Ute. Nathan's been around here constantly welding for me. We fixed up the patches on the skirt on that side. The bottom piece is welded in. We've got one side welded on the top of the rail, so that piece is now finalised. It's got a lot of cleaning up to do there. This one's still got to be test fitted and refined to match the other side. The new inner for that side is all but ready to weld in. Just been making that fit nicely and just test fitting to make sure everything clears that. Got some welding and shaping done on the K-frame. So still got a lot of cleaning up to do. This side's welded but not cleaned up yet. Got the top basically done, and I'm also going to put some pieces underneath to match so that it looks clean underneath as well. So just another thing to add to clean the whole thing up. So that's pretty much the day's progress there. So I'll keep chipping away cleaning up. I've got to clean up the two back corners, and then the two side pieces of the rear firewall will be ready to weld in. So keep going on it, keep rolling. That's probably about it for this episode. Been going hard on the engine bay, and we've got a couple of pieces left to make and then continue welding in. So I've just thrown all that together to give you an idea how it's going to look when it's finished. So yeah, once that's welded, then I can put it on the stands, get the K-frame out, get in there and start panel bonding all the edges, joins, make all that nice and smooth so it's all sealed up. Clean up all the inside of the arches, so all that'll be bogged and smoothed as well, just as good as the engine bay. Got some boggins and panel bond there ready to go, so can't wait to get stuck into that. Last thing I'll just drop on the end of here is the engine that's now ready to drop off to a place in Young, which is a couple of hours away from me. I have trust issues with straps, so got a long drive ahead. I don't really want that to move and then find out on the side of the road that it doesn't stay where I want it. So my trolley does have wheels, which is braked, so hopefully that doesn't move. Otherwise I've got some backup straps, and then yeah, if it moves, I don't know what I'm going to do. But for the moment, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.